He is the best featherweight in the world. He is the champion of the 145-pound division, and he is defending his title once again in less than a month, January 31st here in America, February 1st over in Sydney, back home in Australia once again. He's the one and only, he's the great one. He's Alex Volkanovski, kind enough to join us here now. Hello, Alex. How are you, my friend? Great to have you on.
I'm good. Good to see you, mate.
It's great to see you. It's great to see you. You know, an old clip of us doing a little cooking has resurfaced online. Have you seen this? You opening the cap.
Yeah, I do. I do remember. I have seen that, actually. I've seen that a couple of times.
Can I tell you something,
Makes
Alex?
me laugh every time.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I showed that clip to my wife, who's a lot more comfortable in the kitchen than I am, I must say. And she, to my credit, said she has never seen that move done before. So I know you were taking the piss, you were taking the mickey, but you know, maybe it's an Australia thing. I don't know, because over here I've never seen someone still to this day pull that move where you like kind of open it and dip it in. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just something that I've always done. I don't know if it's been in the household, like when my parents did that, or I don't know. I just thought it was maybe a normal thing. Maybe it's not, you know what I mean? But we're having a good laugh, mate. You know, I wasn't really,
no, of course,
like you said, taking the piss, you know, just having a laugh.
Of course. All right. I wanted to talk to you, obviously, about this fight against Diego Lopez. And I know you're locked in, and I know you're almost there, and you don't want to go backwards. But this is the first time that we are speaking. And so I'd be remiss if I don't ask you a couple questions about the making of the fight. When you were told officially they're not going with Lerone or Movsar, I got to give you all the credit in the world, Alex. You went out there multiple times and said these guys should be fighting next for the belt, but in the end you're going to fight who they tell you to fight. Could I just ask what your reaction was when you found out it was going to be once again Diego, the guy you beat in your last fight back in April?
Well, look, we sort of eased into it, right? If it was just all of a sudden out of nowhere they just told me that's who it was going to be, I would I guess I would have been a little shocked. But after Lerone, well, Movsar, straight after the fight, after my fight with Lopez, I mentioned, you know, it should be Movsar, but then that wasn't going to happen. I couldn't turn around quick anyway. I know my plans was to have a quick turnaround. I just couldn't. A few things after the fight, like, you know, were just things I had to take care of. But then he was going to fight, and then all that stuff happened, and then I was like, oh man, I don't know if they're going to give it to him now. Then Lerone stepped in, and that happened. Then I obviously called him out, and I was thinking, like, yeah, I think they were a little interested in maybe that as well. But then they just wanted to wait to see what happened with Silva and Lopez. So when I seen that they were waiting for that, I was like, oh, okay, so obviously it could be one of these two. I was thinking it would be more if Jean Silva wins. And then Lopez won, and then we're like, all right, so what's happening? Is it going to be Lerone? Like, oh, we don't know. Leave it with us. So I'm like, crap. All right, so maybe it could be Lopez. So I started thinking that could be the case from there on. And then when I got told, I wasn't too surprised.
Obviously, you're the champion. You want to defend the belt. That's enough motivation. But considering you just beat this guy in your last fight, and it wasn't a controversial fight or anything like that, did it take some time to get, you know, a little bit revved up for this challenge?
Not really. I mean, I'm going to fight whoever. You know, whoever it is, I'll step up. Obviously, I'm going to look at how people, you know, maybe legacy-wise and all that, you know, would I rather an undefeated fighter like a Movsar or a, you know, Lerone Murphy or something like that? Yeah, maybe. But I know this is still going to be an exciting fight. And I can just, you know, fight if I think they might be fighting. I'm not too sure. I think Lerone Murphy and Movsar might be fighting. And if that's the case, I'll just fight the winner of that. You know, obviously I've got to take care of business 1st of February. I'll do that. But, yeah, I guess for me, at least I know it's going to be exciting. One thing that I will say, and I know a lot of people are going to always go to, you know, rankings and all that sort of stuff, which I'm a big believer in. Everyone knows I'm a big believer in that. But I'm also a big believer in taking your opportunities. As you know, I'm a guy that I'll step in on short notice if I have to take an opportunity. I'll be the backup fighter to, you know, take an opportunity. You know, I won't say no, you know what I mean? So, you know, just things like that, because we know we are going to get favored if things like that happen. If you are saying no, or, you know, I've got a little injury, I was like, all right, what about, you know, you fight this date? No, I can't. And you start doing these sort of things, you probably ain't going to be rewarded. And we all know that, right? We all know that. So that's why I'm like, are we that surprised but for me, again, I'm a big believer in rankings and earning your shot and all that sort of stuff. But in this day and age, in this business, in this company, we know that taking your opportunities, going out there, having exciting fights, saying no to no one, stepping up, and I'll fight anyone, like I'll say, yep, whoever it is, we know you're going to be rewarded. We actually know this, right? It's no surprise that you are going to get favored if that happens. So that's why I can't act like I'm that surprised, because he definitely is that guy that'll fight anywhere. I know that when for that September card that he fought, when he fought Silva, they threw every name at him, and he's yes, and a lot of people were saying no. So I'm going to have to, at least have his back on that one. But at the same time, for me, I plan on doing what I'm going to do. Again, he's a dangerous guy. He's tough. We see now, he can take a good punch. But I plan on going out there. I don't take any damage, and I want to have a quick turnaround, try and have the quick turnaround that I wanted last time. And then maybe we can do it with someone like Movzar or Lerone Murphy. And then, again, I know they'll be disappointed, but their fight won't be too far away, because I'll make sure that happens.
Last thing on all of this stuff, were you given a reason as to why they chose Diego over the other two?
No, I wouldn't say a reason. No,
Okay.
I was just eased into it. Obviously, that fight was an exciting fight. Big finish as well. So maybe, I don't know. I just knew that I was sort of got the feeling I think they might go here, they might go with Lopez on this one, which I was almost preparing for that. As soon as I could get back to training, or when I was starting to work on things, it was Movzar, and just training for things that, might need to use for him. And then it could be Lerone, and I'm waiting to do things like that. Then after I started figuring that out, I go, okay, it could be Lopez. So let's start maybe preparing for that again as well.
I feel like there are three themes going into this fight for you. The first was the one we just talked about, how they got to this opponent. The second being back home in Australia. First time since 2017 fighting in Sydney. 1 in 13 fights for you fighting back home. Obviously, the Islam fight was back home. That was the one since 2018. Just getting to do the camp back home and not having to travel and being the man and finally getting this big fight back home. What does that feel like for you? Do you love this?
Yeah, of course. Awesome. And literally hometown. So you've got fought in Perth, as you said, but I didn't defend the belt. I get to defend the belt here in Sydney, literally an hour and a half away from where I live. I'm going to treat it the exact same. A lot of people are like, oh, you can just stay home and then come up. And I won't be doing that. I'll make it feel like it's a fight week. I'm going to go there the week before and, just go through fight week as I always do. But to have it here, it's pretty good. That's why I waited a little bit longer as well, right? Because I told everyone that I wanted a quick turnaround. I couldn't do the quick turnaround for a couple of niggles and things that we had to look after. Then it was like, all right, I wanted whether it's going to be October, December, and then they end up saying, look, Sydney may be February. I'm like, okay, I can wait for that. So I didn't want to wait, but if it's going to be for a Sydney fight, maybe I can wait for that.
And then the other big theme, and probably the biggest of them all, is your retirement, your status as an active fighter. And it seems like everyone's weighing in, and I have to be honest, I'm trying to figure out where it all started. I've seen Tom Aspinall say he thinks you should retire if all goes well. I've seen Lerone say he thinks you'll never fight him, not because you don't want to, but because you're going to retire. It seems like everyone has kind of dubbed this a retirement fight, except for you. And I don't really know how it originated this way. And so could you tell us, very matter-of-factly, is this a retirement fight for you? Are you going to be done after this fight?
Yeah, I don't know where that came from exactly. Obviously, I guess whether people are just going off what I say. I'm like, how many more do I have? If I was to get beaten up, am I going to, come back to fight? No, you know what I mean? But that's not my plans, unless something, things go horrendously wrong. I'm planning on going back out there. Whether the next one, taking on an undefeated fighter in the UFC or something like that, I mean, that's appealing. Maybe that could be one that I finish up on. But right now, I plan on everything going well, getting my hand raised, hopefully take a minimal damage so I can have a quick turnaround and still fighting. So the plan isn't definitely to retire. You know what I mean? So that's I don't know where that comes from.
Okay.
You know, there was a talk straight after my last fight. I'm like, oh, you know, how many more? You know, you never know. There were talks like that. But as soon as I started training, I was like, let's keep going.
You like it? You still enjoy this?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You know, it ain't easy. You know what I mean? Especially everyone knows how hard I train and that everything that comes with it. Especially now I'm doing so many things outside of fighting and they're doing so well. I guess I don't need to fight, but I mean, let's be real. You know, a lot of people are going to say, he's fighting for money and all that. It's always been like that. It's always been about the money and looking after my family. I mean, you ain't never going to make the paychecks you're going to make fighting, right? So and I still feel like I can go out there and, you know, even in the training room, you know, you've got people coming in with camps and, you know, seeing how hard we train. Like, how does he do this, even at 37 years old? So, you know, I'm still going strong. So I'll just keep going. I guess we'll see. I wouldn't say I keep going. I think I can't promise another 3-4 years, but I mean, I don't think I'm retiring this one because I plan on getting my hand raised and taking minimal damage, going out there and setting a statement, put on a show for the fans, and maybe we'll see what happens after that. Who we're going to have after that, and then maybe that's going to be a little more appealing fight to retire on.
Maybe it's people have dreamed up of this great scenario for you. You're back home, you win, you put the gloves down and the belt, all this stuff. But very clearly, I don't get that sense from you. In fact, I did hear Paddy Pimblett say if he wins against Justin Gaethje, he could see a world where you'll want to go up and fight him at 155. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, if it's offered to me, of course I'm gonna, you know, I'll fight for the lightweight title. But I mean, you know, as everyone knows, I'm pretty real with everything. Right now, it's like, do I deserve a shot at the lightweight title already? You know what I mean? Like right now, it's like, no, I know I don't. So it's not something that I'm planning. And like I said, I'm not planning to fight for another, you know, 2-3 years. So I feel like for me to deserve a shot like that, I'm going to need another 2-3 wins, and then, you know, maybe I'm back in a position where I can fight for, you know, I deserve a shot at that lightweight title. You know, I don't believe I deserve that right now. So that's why that's not something that I've even thought of. He mentioned it. I was like, oh, I'm surprised he thought that, because that's not something that's, you know, I feel like could be in the near future. Unless the UFC are like, oh, look, someone's got injured, I need you on 11 days notice. Come. All right, sweet, no worries. I'm there.
Can I ask, you know, it's crazy now. You see Islam as welterweight champion. You're featherweight champion, and you were so close to beating him in that first fight. Do you think about that fight a lot? Do you think about those final seconds? Is this the one that keeps you up at night?
Man, I'm all good with it. Yeah, I'm all good with it. You know, it's and a lot of people are going to talk about the second fight. It's like, why'd you do it on 11 days notice and this and that? And why'd you do the quick turnaround after that? It's just, man, like man, that's just who I am anyway. But no, I don't. Like, I think we put on a great show. You know, we thought we did enough. We know it was a very, very close fight. A lot of people still talk about this all the time. Everyone that was at that arena, you know, it's you know, people always talk about moments and that, and everyone's still got a great moment there. Obviously, me getting my hand raised would have just been perfect way to end that. You know, perfect bit of entertainment or whatever, however you want to call it. Yeah, so man, I'm all good with it. I'm all good with how everything is. You know, people are going to, as I said, people are going to keep bringing up, why'd you do it in 11 days notice? Do you regret that? I don't. That guy that would take on anyone on 11 days notice, will take on any challenge, is why I'm in this situation anyway. This is why this is why I'm a defending champ, you know what I mean? And done what I've done. You know, it's because I'm that guy. That's a guy that turns up in the gym every single day, and I'm proud of that, and I wouldn't change a thing.
You're one of the first champions to be competing in this new Paramount Plus era. Kayla would be the first, you're the second. And I'm just curious, you know, I love the business side of things. I know that there were once pay-per-view points attached to, you know, championship fights. How are they offsetting that now that there's no more pay-per-view?
Not exactly sure just yet, to be honest. So, yeah, I think we are in talks with them. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it is different, right? So that's why them conversations are going to be had. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just focusing on what I do, and I'll leave I guess, the rest to Ash.
Fair enough. And you're in capable hands, no doubt. Are you confident it will be all sorted and it will be in a good spot that you're comfortable with?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think for sure. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure.
You did mention you've got a lot of other things. Obviously, cooking with Volk is exploding. I see all the success you're having on social media and YouTube. I kind of laugh when I see all of this and the way people talk about you. I see so many great memes and videos about you walking down. There was once a time, we had many of these conversations where people said, like, where's the personality? You know, he's just another vanilla guy. And now I feel like everyone gets and loves your personality. Do you laugh about that? It just took them a while to figure it out, but now I feel like you're one of the most beloved personalities in the game and everyone can't get enough of your content out of the cage.
Yeah, it is. It's weird because I guess I've always been that guy, but I just wasn't able to really be that guy when I was going through, when I was chasing the dream and, wanting to be champion and, everything that comes with it. You don't really, it's hard, like, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people are going to be like, I guess where they come from. That's always been me. But while I was chasing the dream, it was just like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. So it's almost like you start losing yourself a little bit because you've got this tunnel vision, and you people talk about the fighter's identity. It's like, yeah, it's a real thing, especially if you want to be successful and you want to be the best. I don't have time for anything else but be in the gym, and you know what I mean. I don't get to hang out or do all this sort of stuff. I'm just in the gym, and or I'm dad or I'm the fighter. Every conversations usually revolves around just fighting, and back then I'm just like, oh, they want to know about the fighting. That's all I'll sort of give them. So it was just, I don't know, that's just how it always was. And I do remember people would say things like that, and yeah, whatever. I guess it's just like, I'm not gonna talk trash. I thought it was because I didn't talk trash, but then I understand it now. It's like, yeah, because I didn't really give them too much back then, and I don't think I could because I was just so dialed in on what I had to do, and I didn't have any time for anything else. That yeah, you lose a bit. And then I obviously had that. No, I guess you started seeing a little bit before I had the big break, but you started seeing me get a little bit more comfortable with everything and confident inside the octagon and outside, and then having the break and then really getting to spend a lot of time doing those things and having the camera in your face doing things outside of fighting was awesome. And even that break was, I was able to hang out again and just be me again, if that makes sense, which, sometimes can be pretty hard when you are chasing a dream. And that's what I mean. And the reason why I talk about that is because I want people to know that, if they are going to chase the dream, like, if you really, really want to succeed and, you want to be elite and you want to be the best in the world, you might lose a bit of yourself for a bit. That's what I want you to know. Like, yeah, because if you really do want to do what you need to do to be the best, I believe there's a lot of time, sacrifices, discipline that comes with it. You won't have much time for anything else, but you can get it all back. That's sort of one thing I want to leave it with. I'm very glad that that's the guy I was, because I wouldn't have the opportunities I have now. I wouldn't be where I am right now if I wasn't that guy. And I'm just glad that I'm who I am today.
Adversity is a privilege, as you said back in Miami. One last quick one, if I can. I saw you link up with the great Paul Hughes, who we're big fans of and think the world of. What was that like, and how did that come together?
Yeah, good, really good dude. He's just was in Australia, and then he reached out and he's like, oh, I don't know why I didn't reach out earlier. He leaves in a couple of days, and I leave in a couple of days. Can we come, maybe get a bit of training and catch up? And I said, yeah, of course, man, for sure. So he popped in, and it'd be good. Next time he's in, I go, mate, just hit us up straight away. Come in. Really good dude. Very good dude.
Yes, I agree. Can't wait for this. Welcome back. Looking forward to it, and so happy that you're getting this opportunity back home in Sydney. It's an amazing thing. Thank you for doing this so early, Alex. As always, appreciate you very much. I know you don't do a lot of these right now. Ash told me that many times. He doesn't do a lot of these, so be grateful, you son of a... No, I'm kidding. He was very kind about it, but I bothered him a lot. Just really wanted to talk to you about this big opportunity, so we really appreciate it and wish you all the best.
No worries, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're the man. Thank you, Alex. All the best to you. There he is, the great Alex Volkanovski, the reigning, defending UFC featherweight champion, returns to action on the 31st of January here in the United States of America, February 1st over in Sydney. What a scene it is going to be when I come from a land down under. When that plays on the speakers over at that arena, that beautiful arena over in Sydney, it's going to be a great time. Summertime over in Sydney, I mean, you know yourself, it's going to be a great scene. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.